I take my job here as the guy that is riding shotgun on, not just the transfer of how things get done in property management from like the old way to the new way with AI, but I also, have this like really interesting position inside of a venture-backed company that's out there trying to win the whole Mortal Kombat tournament of like what AI can do for small business inside Silicon Valley and Main Street. Right. So I, every once in a while, get an insight into something that's coming. And it happened not that long ago, kind of like a year ago when I started. And right now I'm seeing something else, right? There's a new word, a new kind of like categorization of what this all is going to be that just hit my radar. And I want to share it with you. So hope you enjoy. Welcome to the Property Management Frame Breakers podcast. I'm your host, Pablo Gonzalez, and I am here to introduce you to the folks in the property management space that have broken the frame of what you may believe was possible. This podcast is presented by Vendoroo. It is your all-in-one AI solution for resolving your maintenance needs. Let's go. In the words of one of my great mentors, one of my great heroes, the godfather of category design, Christopher Lochhead, a demarcation in language represents a demarcation in thinking. So as we've been going on this AI journey, I'm always looking for when does the right word pop up to describe what's happening. Last time I had this feeling was almost exactly a year ago. I remember we were trying to talk about where we sit in this AI thing. And Reza said something, blah, 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 because Agentic AI, blah, blah, blah. And I'm like, whoa, Agentic AI. Dive into that. And he explained to me the difference between what Generative AI was and Agentic AI was. And I was like, that's it. We need to wrap ourselves around this word. And it's because of that, the word Agentic kind of started permeating into the property management space, right? Like we were the first ones talking about this stuff and getting out there. And now a year later, everybody's got agents and you know what it is. And that's what's happening, right? So I hadn't had that feeling until very recently when we were talking about this new product deck and somebody said this term, system of action. And I'm immediately, ears perked up, eyes got wide. I'm like, whoa, what is this? And they're like, oh, no, this is just this. We didn't come up with this. This is just out there, kind of like the word agentic, right? Like this is what the AI world is talking about, these systems of action. And I think in that term, there's a good story to tell of how to understand this AI transition in that we're going from seeing software and technology as a system of record and to now with agents in it, it's becoming a system of action. But a system of action is not a new thing. If you really think about it, it's just a new kind of blanket that we wrap around what's happening inside of a business. We've always had a system of action. It's called people. We've just always seen technology as, we've always had a system of record and a system of action, actually, right? Like it used to be a system of record was notebooks, ledgers, all these different things that we took, tracked manually, pencil and paper, pen and paper, that type of stuff. As technology got better, our system of record started becoming technology, right? Started becoming these softwares. Those softwares, as they became software as a service, the way that we took records got better, right? Like it went from just straight up manual input on Excel to different automations and right, the record keeping got more and more automated, but there was still this separate system of records. In the meantime, our system of action has really not changed this whole time. It's always been people. It's always been people and tools. And those people and those tools, they use the system of record, but they're the ones taking the action. Now, where are we? Now we're at a moment where there is a blurred line between the system of record and the system of action. And there is technology that serves as a system of action, right? This AI agent that is able to interface with your clients, right? Able to interface with your team and answer questions. And as it's doing it, is also compiling the records and being able to show it to you in a certain way. That to me feels like the thing that's happening. And we're just, putting this label of system of action on it really, really helps. So what happens when your system of action and your system of record merge, right? I think this is something that is under discussed, but we talk about the work order dive all the time, right? We talk about this idea that like if someone's asking what the hell's going on here, you got to go in, look at maybe like the estimates. You got to look at like a text conversation or an email back and forth. You go look in the notes inside of the system and maybe make a couple other phone calls to just like get more context. If you think about an AI voice taking the first call that figures out, what's going on and creates a work order, and an AI triage and troubleshooting agent that now starts texting back and forth with a resident to help them try to fix it, really figure out what's really, really wrong there. But more, more importantly, like if it doesn't fix it, create a perfect work order that's like really well validated. And then it picks the vendor, starts communicating with the vendor, communicating with the homeowner, follows up with the vendor, gets the report, creates a report. That's a system of action, right? Like that is all action. But what's happening at the same time? The system of record is being updated by the same system, right? So they're both in one. And now, instead of a bunch of different things in different places, right, that needs to go get looked at, it's all in one place, even though the channels are completely different, right? Like the channels of the user haven't changed. It's still text, it's still phone calls, it's still emails, it's still the PMS, hasn't changed, but now it's all being compiled by the same system of action that's working out of the system of record as well. On top of that, this lack of delineation, right? Like just think about, let's take it out of the maintenance realm, right? Like salespeople, right? Like when you're calling, like Salesforce is a lot of people's, or HubSpot is a lot of people's system of record. And one of the biggest pain points that they have is keeping the notes up to date, right? If a salesperson wants to hand something off to a customer success person or an onboarding person or something like that, they can only know as much as what's there and whatever conversation they have and whatever the salesperson remembered, right? But if that salesperson was all of a sudden the same system of record taking this action and keeping it all there, now this context never gets lost. And that's what's happening in property management as well, as agents start to become the system of action, right? Like if that phone call and the text back and forth and the coordination with the vendor and all the reporting from the vendor, and you know exactly when it was done because it's done exactly on time and everything gets put in perfectly 100% of the time, now your system of record is a much more pure source of information. It becomes a perfectly searchable thing for perfect answers. It becomes this durable thing that, something happens 4 years down the line, you get sued or whatever, it's there, right? So this merging of a system of action and system of record is actually strengthening the core of your business as well. And most importantly, you've always had a system of action, right? It's just always been exclusively people. Now you have your system of record and your system of action inside of your software. Then there's an extra layer of system of action for your people, but more than anything, the action by your people is leadership. I think if we can start to visualize that, we're going to have a much better chance at building the company the way that it's supposed to be built so that it works well, and we're not having this gravity and this weight that people feel like if the AI messes something up or it's going a little bit slower than usual. It's just, this is how system of actions act, right? Like they take actions as things get better. It just, with people, sometimes it gets better and then it gets worse and then it gets better and then you lose them and you lose context. In this case, system of action gets better. It might make a different mistake, but then that mistake gets better, but you're never going to lose that context, right? It's going to continue to compound, and the system of action is going to be capable of much more, which is what we keep asking our people to be capable of and keep failing them by putting them in roles that they can't succeed in, which leads to turnover and burnout and all these things. So look out for this word, a system of action. This is coming in the AI world. It's going to come to property management as well. And now you know where you heard it first. It's kind of like where you first heard agents, Agentic, system of action. That's what Vendoroo is. We're actually the first ever system of action for maintenance.